Hello, welcome to the first edition of the GrandOldTeam Show. I'm Adam Parsington, this is Dave Feely, and we're at the Excelsior in our one, which is the signature Everton pub on a match day. This is the place to be. Isn't that right, Dave? On Dale Street, just round the corner from where Bramley Moor's going to be. Indeed. So make sure on a match day that you come down here. What we're going to do with this show, it's the first time we've done this, might be a little bit rusty, might be a little bit ropey at times, but we'll give it a go. First off, this is a great place to start, actually, to be honest, off the back of the derby. A lot of talking points from the weekend, Dave. We picked up after outside the ground, as we do for the post-match stuff. First of all, just general observations. Now we've had a couple of days to think about the derby. How are you feeling when you look back on that game now?
I remain positive. Pardon me, I come out the ground, spoke to you, and I was positive. However, in retrospect now, having had a couple of days to consider it, some of the things our manager did, considering where we were at the time, psychologically, with our team, we had a win at Cardiff and also at Huddersfield, but no one really paid any attention to it because it was Cardiff and it was Huddersfield, and we were seeing the problems rather than any possible solutions. He ignored this fact, he ignored the pressure, and he went two up front. Specifically, the two up front he chose were Calvert-Lewin and Walcott, both of them allowing you to hit them on the break. See, Van Dijk can't mark everybody. That's what he was basically doing. He was playing chess with Klopp, and Van Dijk can't mark everybody. And basically, what he was doing was spreading it across the pitch, one there and one there. And even if they push on you, Sigurdsson wins the ball and throws it anywhere over their back line, we're in, because in a foot race, those two players of ours, possibly the only two players on our books, by the way, who could do that, but those two players are at least even favourites in a foot race towards their goal, so they drop back. The other thing was, though, is Calvert-Lewin, he tried to get onto Matip. He weren't having that Van Dijk, so he was trying to get him, so it was one-on-one. Calvert-Lewin and Van Dijk, and Matip picked up the loose ball. But what Calvert-Lewin did, certainly coming from our manager, was drop onto Robertson, which was fantastic. Our goalkeeper started kicking it out. He was jumping above the fullback and nodding it on, thereby giving Van Dijk a choice whether to go with him or to mark the space. That was the manager. That was our manager, with no one mentioning nothing about it. So that was instrumental in us getting a foothold in the game. It was really, really important, and I think that's it's.
So, because sometimes for the mere mortal, it can be I think, a little bit puzzling why managers persist with certain players. So would you say then, with what you've said there, and you've offered a new perspective that probably most of us haven't thought about, is that why he still persists with Theo Walcott? Because
absolutely.
On the face of it sometimes, Dave, you'll probably agree, when Theo has the ball sometimes, it's a slightly problematic. So is that the reason for you?
Theo Walcott's primary weapon is his pace. To not utilise his pace is getting 50% out of Theo Walcott, and now you're relying on the things he doesn't do so well.
Okay.
So that's just as a hypothetical exercise. It's really not a good methodology, is it? You wouldn't do that. You'd do it the opposite way. Well, I think he might have copped on to the fact that this particular day, these love to bomb on you. They love to sit on you, also draw you in and hit you. But if you let them come onto you, they'll just camp in your arm and literally move around you, passing, waiting for Salah, Firmino or the other fella to get space, to go bump and kill you 3, 4, 5-0. If you watch the Anfield Rap videos, that's what they were planning to do.
If you watch the Anfield
Rap
videos.
I don't personally, but what I'm saying to you is, our manager didn't panic. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan in the world. I'm trying to grade him honestly. So if we're going to grade him honestly, having slated him when he's been wrong, we need to say, know what? That was really important for us. If they'd have bounced out of our ground yesterday, even winning 1-0 and going back to the top of the league, that would have hurt us psychologically. And I'm sure we're going to come on to the fact that the last time we played them in a derby, we were playing as good as we had done in 18 months, 2 years. We walked out of there and we hadn't recovered from it until last week, until Sunday. It was psychologically a killer blow Jordan Pickford in the 96 minutes absolutely wrecked our season, and to sit here as toffees before we even get to the end of it and deny that is just, it's ridiculous.
On the point of Silva there, what impact do you think he's had on Michael Keane? Because I think, again, there's some valid criticisms that are levelled at Michael Keane at times, but for me, David, I don't know, whether or not you've observed this too, but I feel like he has had a positive impact on that player.
I think Michael Keane's a player. Very, very few centre-halves are at the top of the game at 24, 25 years of age, by the way. Very, very few. But I seen him. I had a conversation with someone from the Anfield, funny enough, on the radio yesterday, and said, Michael Keane was the best player, in my opinion, at Anfield. Out of all the players on the bar, Michael Keane. Gomez kind of shaded it with him, but I gave it to Michael Keane personally. I thought the other day it was the same again. That's turning up in the big games. We called our players for nearly 2 decades for doing the opposite of that. So if he does that, that's another thing about Silva. He said he was going to turn up with the big teams, and we've done it. If I was him, if I was Marcel Brands, I'd say get to the end of the season, pick as many away wins up as you can, and that's your format for next year. You've shown you can advance. You didn't do a quantum leap. It wasn't shooting for the moon, but you've made a giant leap forward. Statements at all the big grounds, and now we'll see what happens at home. But the first two we've done all right against. So if that can be your methodology, if that's your problem, if dealing with the middle of the table and the bottom of the table is your problem, you haven't really got the problems you had 5 years ago, because our problem wasn't that. It was cracking the top 6, and we, for the life of us, whatever we try, with a squad of players we won't probably see for 20 more years, especially without any money. The Baineses, the Cales, Pinars, Arteta, Jagielka.
Even later on in the likes of John Stones
that
and
came, but the other ones, Moyes built his house around him, but we still couldn't quite get that last little bit. Well, if he can do that in his first season, Marcel Brands can have 3 months working his magic in the transfer window, and then it does roll on to the second year with a view to a third year. That's actual progress. It's not quantum leap progress, it's incremental. However, it remains progress. We've got to accept that.
It does. I just want to... I know that, like sometimes as football fans, you don't want to persist in talking about the officials and the referee, but Martin Atkinson, this is a talking point, so let's just address it. In terms of like the grand scheme of terrible refereeing performances in the derby, where does he rank this time?
Nah, it's not up there with me. I've been watching these a long time, but
no.
We've had
Thomas,
Graham Paul, Clattenburg. There's 3 right off the top of my head. He wouldn't get anywhere near. However, he's a clown. It's not like I'm slagging him because he does bad things to my team. He merits it. To book Theo Walcott, first tackle, you may as well book Father Christmas. Theo Walcott is the most unlikely personality to go in with a foot in any game, anywhere, at any time, and he booked him for his first tackle in the derby. I'm saying you're clueless.
But then didn't replicate it for some of the other instances.
See, now you're applying logic. There's your problem. You're applying logic and fairness, and he's supposed to have set a standard.
Yes.
Years ago in the derby, they'd say, well, you booked you for that. Everything else goes, so we're only going to have 4 players by 42 minutes. See what I'm saying to you?
Or a smarter referee goes, do you know what, Theo? You made a mistake there, but we're 5 minutes in, the crowd's bouncing here. Or
the person who appointed him, having previously appointed him to Merseyside derbies where he was just as clueless as he was on Sunday, that's when the decision should have been made, and he should have went, no, I won't put his name down there, I'll pick somebody else, because he patently can't handle it, and he's got the memory span of a goldfish. He doesn't remember that 3 things similar to that have just happened 15 minutes ago. So you now can't be establishing boundaries and barriers because you're supposed to be taking a 90-minute game with people who don't even live in the country, supposed to be following it through. There's no logic to it. He's an absolute clown.
But overall, just to wrap up the derby chat before we go on some of the questions that we've had via Twitter, Dave. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, when we look at this, we're all desperate to beat Liverpool. But on the whole, it was good, wasn't it?
It was good. The solidity of it was fantastic. The mindset of it. I'll tell you what I did like. I liked the collective responsibility. There was none of that putting your hands out. If somebody made a mistake, his mate was going behind him. Everyone was putting it in for the team. Michael Keane's tackle on Salah in the last 2 minutes, we should have it running on the screen every week. It was really big. Imagine if he'd have scored that in the last minute, psychologically, like I've just said to you, what that would have done to us in the manner that it happened. It's pathos. Shakespeare, it's Everton, that's Everton, that. See what I'm saying to you? Well, it never happened because Michael Keane read it and got over and took it off his foot. Bravo, son. That's how you go. That's what it is now. We've seen that. The thing about Liverpool, stop getting navel-gazing about Liverpool. We really haven't got to worry about Liverpool. We've got to worry about Everton. And we need to, before we start, we'll get to a point, hopefully, where we will worry about Liverpool, but it's not yet. We need to get our own house in order first. And I thought Sunday was the first kind of step towards that. I was pleased with him, yeah.
I think you're right. Right, okay, so tune in for this second part of the show. We'll be taking your questions from Twitter here down in the Excelsior. In our one, the best Everton pub on a match day. You're watching GrandOldTeam TV. Okay, so welcome back to the second part of the GrandOldTeam Show. This is a new feature that we're doing. Dave Feely's here at the Excelsior on Dale Street. So make sure you get down to this place on a match day. Now we're going to take some questions from Twitter. I asked for some questions, Davo. Yeah. Shrug your shoulders like it doesn't mean anything.
No,
we've got the people talking to us.
Like that, I couldn't actually speak because of the juice in my mouth and my throat at the time. But no, go for it, smash it.
Dave Wayne asks, do you think Everton should build on the sirens at the start of the match before kick-off to get the crowd up for any game? Or should it be something, you know, that's more specific to the big games like the derby and stuff?
I said to you on the other video the other day, I'm really impressed with it. When it was suggested in advance, I was one of the people who said we should try that. However, do I think that'll work against Lincoln City in the League Cup? I'm saying no one Evertonians, for as long as I do, they'll get sceptical about that. It'll get overkill aspect. I've seen Alan Myers put a thing up saying that's when you need it. It's actually, logically, he's got a point. However, Evertonians don't always act logically, so I'm saying you might want to keep that one up your sleeve. But I don't know. I'll tell you what you could do. The fan forum thing, maybe that. Social media now allows access to people who previously never had a voice, ourselves included, incidentally. However, on something like this, because if you are going to implement it at Goodison for any game, well, that means it's standard for the next place. That means it's staying for 150 years, hypothetically, theoretically. So we really do need to consider what we're looking to do with it. However, it's a hit, it worked. Everyone in the ground, I think that was coming anyway.
Yeah, it was.
Without
the sirens, it wouldn't have.
At 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, the place would have still been off.
Yeah.
However, it added theatre to it.
It did.
And if we're talking about our rivals over the park, considering we've got a theatre impresario, used to as our chairman for 25 years, they're the ones who like the theatre. So to do a little bit of that back to them, don't forget we have to go through the whole rigmarole of the flags and the and everything turning behind it. So let's
build on it.
No, let's try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a chess move. You move, we move.
I think, just incidentally, Dave, on GrandOldTeam there was a poll, and most people had voted for the option of saving it for the big occasions. Yeah. So I think that's the consensus, but we will see. Definitely, though, massive thumbs up to the lads who I think got onto the back of that with the club and the club for accepting it. Well done.
That's from yourself. Bravo.
So Owen says, as the inconsistent nature of the league, Everton have a chance of finishing 7th. And likely a Europa League spot this year. Do you and Dave reckon that would be a hindrance or an acknowledgement that we're going in the right direction? Personally, for me, I can never sit here and say I don't want Everton to play European football. I know that from a sober perspective, it messes up the season. We start playing football on June the 3rd again, or whenever it is, something mental like that. But for me, I just can't turn it down. That would symbolise a fantastic end to the season when you think about Watford and Wolves at the moment.
I agree.
and it would mean we've got European football and everything that comes with that.
I take your point. However, I am now going to reiterate that this is just my opinion. I don't speak for anybody else. It's just my opinion. I think it's too soon, and I think that competition killed both Martinez and Koeman because we weren't ready for it. It's like the kid at Christmas who wants everything in the shop, but you can't have everything in the shop. And what happens is we say, yeah, we'll sort it. We get to September, realise that our striker gets injured, and now we're playing a 21-year-old kid twice a week, and we can't travel to there. Let's wait 12 months, have 2 summer transfer windows with Marcel Brands, and actually stay in the competition till March and get to the last 16, the last 8 or something. That, I'm all over that. But this, we just go to make up the numbers. Nobody, no Evertonian in their right mind thinks that this squad of players, plus whatever comes in the summer, gets us to anywhere near the last 8 in the Europa League.
That's a
and
good point.
I think we need to do enough in the Premier League every year. Wolves have come up now, West Ham are going to spend money. It's not just the top 6. If you're not going forward, you're going backwards in this league. You're not standing still because everybody else is going forward. So by standing still, you're actually going backwards. So to be looking at Europe, I personally, at the age I am, think no, not this year, we're not ready.
Okay, point taken. Steve Davis says there was a time when a player's aims were linked directly with our dreams for the club. Money appears to have killed that link with the FC. Indeed, there is a complete disconnect with the club and its supporters. Big Nev has great ideas on how to solve this. How do we get him heard? Dave, Nev's a friend of yours. I've interviewed him once. That's my little claim to fame. How do you think there's a place for Neville Southall within the modern version of Everton Football Club that's not on the pitch? And if so, how could Nev be involved more?
Yeah, there's a role for him. I think they're going to find a role for him, actually. For the first time, he's a very good friend of mine. I'm sure most of you know it anyway. I get blagged for knowing him anyway, but he's my mate. And that wasn't always the case between him and the club. Neville holds the record appearances for Everton. He's also won the most awards for anybody ever, including Dixie Dean, and there's a statue of Dixie Dean outside the ground, and he couldn't get in, so I always had a problem with it. However, that's moving forward now. The thing about Neville is, Neville will be involved at the other place. If we're a club with Everton in the community, as our standard, we put our club flag there and our Everton the community flag right next door to it. Wherever we go, social media, on the game, everything, it's foremost in this club what we do. He's your perfect ambassador. He's exactly what he wants. It's how he lives his life.
So that could be the route in for him via the community
he'll
work.
get a route in because he's absolutely our legend. He's a record appearance holder, the most decorated footballer ever in 140 years. That's what gets him in. However, his personality, what he brings, that's what flourishes. That's how he'll grow. And he's my mate. That's my personal opinion.
Good. Liam Knight, he asks if you could pick one ex-player from the Premier League era to add to this squad at the moment, who would it be? I'm going to be a bit controversial here, and I'm going to say that when I looked at Everton on Sunday and I saw a lack of composure in the final third, and I know he didn't turn up in the big games per se, but for me, and I know he's had issues at Man United, but for me, Romelu Lukaku.
Oh yeah, no, I loved him.
I mean,
him.
That ball across the front where Bernard just needed a little flip, he just needed a touch it, didn't he, Bernard? And he didn't get it. And that's the kind of thing that Romelu Lukaku would have thrown himself at, a ball across the box. And I'm going to add a caveat and say Romelu Lukaku for me circa the first season when he was on loan from Chelsea.
No,
that's the player I'd put in this
full
side.
Stop. Look at his numbers. But however, he wouldn't be the player I chose. I loved him. I don't really love him anymore.
But in terms of who would be best for this, you fell out of him. We all.
No, but I'm saying I fell out with him, but I fell out with him in the way he left, not that he left.
No.
Moreover, you can't deny what he did, just because like that. Anyway, you can't deny it.
He showed a bit of disregard to Old Trafford. But
his numbers were fantastic. Yeah. If he'd have played for Everton for 6 years, he'd have been on there'd have been a thing of him outside like Sharpie. He had the numbers to back it up. So longevity was on his side, not ours. However, he wouldn't be the player I chose from the Premier League. There's only one player ever played for Everton in the Premier League, to be honest with you, is Timmy Cahill. Because he turned up against everybody at all times. If nobody else did, Timmy Cahill himself generally turned up against all the big teams. So if you're looking for someone to come and save you on them days,
yeah.
Timmy Cahill was both a midfielder and a striker. Whoever we had Sarah playing, they were calling him King Louis for years. Timmy Cahill was doing his job for him. He should have took half his money home every week. He was winning those big games for us, doing it at Anfield, at Man City, at Man United, at Chelsea. Nobody else was. Timmy Cahill, yeah.
How long have we got left, Georgie? 3 minutes. Okay, quickly, let's wrap this up then, Davo. Umbro, due to expire at the end of the season. Have you got a preference in terms of a kit manufacturer that you would like?
Not really.
I'd personally like Puma.
No, but what I'm saying is...
Or Kappa.
Yeah, no, but see, that's nostalgia. What I'd say to you is they all cried for Nike. We got Nike, it was the worst kit we'd had in however long.
Yeah, damn right.
So I'm sorry, I'm underwhelmed with the whole thing. I'm not really a kit person either, so maybe I'm the wrong person. Oh, okay. George, no, hell no. There's Hollywood.
There's his Hollywood career down the Swanee. Yeah, thank you for your comments. This was a new feature tonight, so we'll get this up. And remember to let us know what you think. Dave Feely. Dave, what's your Twitter?
At LCAB Baber, BABEH.
And you've got a book?
I have, but we'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll talk about it another time. Thank you to the Excelsior down on Dale Street for having us tonight. This is the main pub for Evertonians, so make sure you get down here on a match day. And as always, get over to GrandOldTeam.com and sign up to the forum. I'm Adam, he's David, Gerard.
Peace out.